So I just got home from a month-long European tour, and I needed to do something to keep the boredom at bay. If you've been on tour, you know what I mean. So I created the perfect setup for me to perform and stream ambient synthesizer improvisations. It consists of 3 keyboards, 2 pedals, a controller, and my computer. I've got everything hooked up via MIDI so that I can easily manage and change presets. I've got 3 camera angles that switch automatically, and I can stream to all major platforms at the same time. It's just a little bit really damn cool, and in this video I'm going to break it all down, and I'm going to link to all the gear that I mentioned in the description. I'm really happy with this setup because it fulfills 2 main goals. Goal 1, easy access to the creative flow state. This setup has a wide range of possibilities, but feels simple. There's a lot to how it all works on the back end, but when I'm actually making music, I never want the gear to feel in my way. Goal 2, I want the act of making music and the process of releasing it to be simultaneous. I want to stream live to all platforms at once, and by the time I'm done playing, I want it to be released and available online with no work on the back end at all. Okay, so let's talk about the gear. So this is a 3 keyboard setup. To me, that's the right number of boards in a rig. It's a lot of options for sounds, but not too many options. If you have too many options, you'll probably never actually make anything, or you'll always be bogged down in the tech side of it. I know all too well that state of mind where you always think that if you just get that one more thing, that you'll finally be able to make the music that you want to make. Well, let me tell you, that is a mirage. I don't need a wall of gear, I just need the right gear that I'll be able to get a lot of creative mileage out of with some healthy limitations. Okay, so keyboard number 1 is the Arturia Polybrute 12, Arturia's newest flagship polysynth. Great for everything, really. Electric piano, pads, leads. The sounds are incredible, but my favorite thing about it is all the modulation sources. The Morphe, the ribbon controller, and the new full-touch MkIII keybed. With all those bells and whistles, you can really play the synthesis. Keyboard number 2 is my Roli Seaboard. Great for pads, great for leads, fun to touch, very squish. Ambient spacey music can start to sound kind of cold and boring if you aren't careful, and the Seaboard adds this crucial layer of expression that gives life to the music. Keyboard number 3 is my trusty Arturia Matrixbrute, a powerful analog monosynth. In this setup, I'm really using it for its sequencer and arpeggiator, as well as sending it pre-composed MIDI parts from my computer. And I'm running this synth through the Eventide H9, a digital multi-effects pedal that can do a really wide range of things. I'm also running the Matrixbrute through the Bliss Mood, a weird granular delay pedal. So those are the 3 boards that I chose for this project, but that's not even really the fun part. The fun part is how I've got it all hooked up so that the actual music making process is immediate and seamless. So with this project, the idea isn't really to have songs, but to instead have what I'm calling improv environments. Basically, predetermined combinations of settings and patches across all 3 keyboards that go together really well. So for example, this preset on the Polybrute goes really well with this preset on the Seaboard, and they both go really well with this preset on the Matrixbrute, which sounds great with this preset on the delay pedal. And all these things together make up this kind of sound environment that I can improvise in. Now, the amount of settings and patches in one sound environment, not to mention several, is more than I could ever remember and manage just on my own. So I've got things set up so that I can save all the settings across the whole rig and recall it at the push of one button. How does that work? I've always been a big fan of preset management systems. Live, I do this by using a workstation keyboard like the Yamaha Montage as the MIDI brain of the rig. I have a video on how to do that here, but in this setup I'm using Ableton Live. So how this works is that in performance mode, I have a track for each MIDI device, with each cell containing MIDI program change messages that get sent to the corresponding device, changing the preset. And each horizontal row is a different improv environment. So basically I trigger the whole row and all the keyboards and pedals in the rig switch to the right settings for that improv environment. And I'm doing this not on my computer, but with a Novation Launch Key Mini on my pedal board. I considered getting an Ableton push for maximum options, but I decided to go simple. Once again, it's not about having every option under the sun, it's about being able to do what I need to do as efficiently as possible. Anyway, check it out. Here's an improv environment called Drops of Wisdom. Here's an improv environment called Alone in the Woods. Here's an improv environment called Arrakis. And so yeah, it takes planning to set all this up on the back end, but once all that stuff is dialed in, as you can see, I can very easily load and recall it at the push of a button, which is what I mean when I say I want easy access to the creative flow state without the gear getting in my way. Okay, so I also said that I want to release content just as easily as I can make it. In practice, this means all my audio is being automatically synced to 3 cameras, which are automatically switching every 7 seconds, and that all that audio and video is being streamed to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube simultaneously. So how does that work? Okay, so I've got the output of Ableton set to an aggregate device, which is a combination of my audio interface and a virtual audio routing program called Blackhole. Essentially, Blackhole allows applications to pass audio to other applications within the computer. This allows me to send the audio from Ableton to a video streaming program called OBS. OBS is free and open source and the go-to program that everybody uses for streaming. In OBS, I have 3 scenes set up, one for each of my 3 cameras that are plugged into the computer via USB. Now, full disclosure, my computer doesn't love having 3 HD cameras plugged into it at the same time, and every now and then there's a little visible glitch. If I was doing the video part of this more legit, I'd be using an external video switcher. But hey, close enough for rock and roll. To switch between the camera angles, I'm using a free OBS plugin called Advanced Scene Switcher to automatically fade between scenes every 7 seconds. And then from there, streaming is as simple as either plugging in the stream key from my platform of choice, or using a service like Restream or Caster to stream live to all the platforms at once. And that's the setup. It's just what I need and not more. Everything works very cleanly and efficiently and allows for very immediate creativity that I can broadcast out into the world in real time. Now, by this point, you must be saying to yourself, with all the thought that went into this process, this dude better be good at actually making music. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to subscribe to this channel and also follow me on Instagram, where I sometimes go live with my ambient synth improvisations. And if you're feeling extra awesome, you can also support me through my Patreon page. Okay, I hope this was useful. Now, go make some music, and I'm gonna go do that too.